Kau Halayim La Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem or Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, great millstone who rule well, teach well, peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Yahweh Khan, come back through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this be exhorting and edifying. It's something I've been meditating on through the spirit for the majority of the day, which is the fact that it's time to gird up. It's been time to gird up, but now, even more so now, and in the future from this point on. When I say gird up, I mean to prepare ourselves mentally. Talk to myself first and foremost. Prepare ourselves mentally for the things that's about to take place. Because it's about to be chaotic. Let's look at that word, chaotic. All right, it says chaos. Meaning utter confusion. And the scriptures talk about the beginning of sorrows, the beginning of great confusion as well. In 2nd Ezra chapter 16. But it's about to be, what else? Orderless confusion. So with all this confusion going on, people about to be bugging out. If we don't have the loins of our mind girded. All right, let me grab that scripture. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Now what is that saying? For us to prepare ourselves to not be distracted, all right, and to constantly pray in hopes of being delivered when Yahweh Shah return. But until the actual day he returns, it will the living conditions here on planet Earth will increasingly become terrific. All right, let's look at that word, terrific. All right, I had to look this up prior lessons, but it says frightening. So it's going to become increasingly frightening. All right, causing terror or fear, frightful, filled with fear. So until Yahweh Shah get back, it's going to continuously be all hell breaking loose. All right, people going to be kicking in each other's doors. Going to be hearing gunshots, screams. All right, let's go to that 2nd Ezra chapter 15. This is the times we're coming into, and us counting the cost of the things we may have to sacrifice, and considering that we will be put in drastic situations, terrific situations. Us taking all of this into consideration is a part of us girding up the loins of our mind and being sober. All right, but the 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men. All right, and sedition is rebellion and uprising. All right, and invading one another. So if people we see our people being rebellious now, they don't want to hear the words of the Lord. All right, they don't want to hear prophecy. They want to hear deceit, smooth things, as it says in Isaiah chapter 30. And how much more when this devil tighten the squeeze, because he already squeezing, but it's going to be to a certain point where there will be no more life in this system. To the point where people will be begging to take the charagma, line up at the chipping stations, as Apostle Tahar like to say. And you're going to have those who will be rebellion. Who will be rebelling, all right, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Ain't nobody going to hear what sleepy, creepy Joe got to say. He already be falling asleep, all right, mid speech. But ain't nobody going to want to hear what he got to say in that time. What the chief captain of the police department got to say, what the mayors got to say. Ain't nobody want to hear none of that. We know in the course of their actions shall stand in their power, meaning they gonna do as they please. Somebody want to kick in a Jake Doe, they gonna do that. All right, the Edomites want to come from their suburbs to the Jake Hoods, they gonna do that. All right, scripture say in Isaiah 19, the Lord gonna set Egyptian against Egyptian. This is spiritual Egypt, modern day Egypt. So that means civil war, American against American. All right. And that's going to all lead to martial law and lockdowns. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You see, the road's going to be blocked off. You might not even be able to come outside some places, the majority of the places. All we can do is consider these things and gird up the loins of our mind and be sober and do not be distracted, caught up in the folly of this world, in the darkness, the ignorance. Because us allowing that to happen, these things will overtake us as a thief in the night. All right. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right, don't even bring up women. We already know women a weaker vessel. It says, and men shall be afraid. Why will they be afraid? Because it's going to be a time like never before. All right, as it says in Mark chapter 13, and also Matthew chapter 24, and Luke chapter 21, Daniel chapter 12, Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, that day is great. So we come into a time like never before, meaning we're gonna have to be locked into the spirit like never before. All right, which makes me think of a precept. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 11. Salakia, I think it's verse 10. Chapter 10. Bear with me. Hold on. Salakia, I know it's a scripture where basically from the time we heard this word all the way to the end, until Yahweh shall return and deliver the elect, we got to be diligent. We got to be constantly praying, seeking the Lord while he is near, and he is near. But in the time of trouble, it's going to seem like he is far, but we still must seek him then. All right? Because everybody else going to be unstable. Isaiah 33:6 says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. So if you don't have wisdom and knowledge, all right, the understanding of what's going on, there will be no stability. People will be unstable. They will be in a chaotic mind state, or orderless confusion, bugged out, afraid. Verse 19, 2 Ezra 15:19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right, you see your neighbor pulling in just about every day. That same neighbor might be knocking at your door with a sword, a gun. All right, have no pity, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because they see you taking in all them groceries. All right, see you trying to prep. These preppers, all right, they might be up to date on what's going on around the world, what's going on with the economy. But these preppers not safe either. People like Double 7. Just people who in that prepping as if they can deliver themselves. It's not. It's going to result in disappointment. All right. It said, let me read it again. 2 Ezra 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Why? Reading on, because of the lack of bread. The lack of bread. Not only will food cost great amounts for small quantities, but it will also be scarce. All right. It says because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Because look at that word, tribulation. This is why we're going to see people bugging out on one another. The love of many waxing cold. Because great tribulation, it says, a state of affliction or oppression, suffering, distress. So people being in that state of suffering gonna cause them to act wickedly. All right. They say in desperate time calls for desperate measures. So the desperation from people's suffering is gonna cause them to do wickedly towards people who so-called was close to him, whether it be those who live close to him or might have been close to him socially, or his so-called friends. Going back to 1 Peter chapter 1, bring it full circle, verse 13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. Why? Because it's about to be a time like never before. All right, scriptures say wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And not only having that wisdom and knowledge, but protecting it. All right, being sober. It says, be sober and hope to the end. All right, the end is nigh, but it's not yet. The end is when Yahweh shall crack the clouds. Until then, we hoping. It says, I hope to the end for the grace, which is mercy. Let's go into that word grace. Grace. That which affords joy, pleasure, delight, sweetness, charm, loveliness, grace of speech, the goodwill, the loving kindness, the favor. Here it goes right here. Of the merciful kindness by which the Most High, exerting his holy influence upon souls, turns them to Hamashiach, keeps, strengthens, increases them in so-called Christian faith, knowledge. Basically, the merciful kindness, the favor, which will be manifested in the salvation, the deliverance. So let's read it again. 1 Peter 1 and 13. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, because it's about to be a time like never before. We'll see deaths like never before. So it's going to take strength like never before. Through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shah, Lord willing, we endure. It says, be sober. Don't be distracted. Don't be caught up in trying to please the flesh, trying to please women, trying to please another man. Worry about pleasing the Lord, so that we may be kind of worthy to escape these things. Reading on.